right. Hey, Facebook friends. Oh, where's that camera? All right. Cameras on, computers on. We great with y'all. Good morning. We have the air on. Ready to get the show started. All right, all right. Woo-wee. All right. No, I'm not going to wear a mask today. I'm on my own. Okay. Let's get started.
Those of us that indulge in or commit intellectual violence don't do so for the pleasure of mental masturbation or ego digging. We do so
The
because
camera's working, Bob.
pressure is mind so deep and hypnosis.
Nobody was working with me. All right, all right. Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye of WHGE 95.3 FM, the education station. All right, all right. You ready to get it started? I'm Patrice Gibbs, your host, the third eye optometrist. Oh, just to let you know, my partner in consciousness took a little vacation this week, and he's out of state, so I'm on my own. Don't worry about it. I got you. I got you. I got plenty for you. Let me see. Oh, yeah, on Facebook Live. Yep, I sure am. Good morning, Sherry. That's my favorite Facebook cuz. That's word. I don't know her just from Facebook, but we've actually met, and we are indeed real friends. That's word. Love you, Sherry. All right, all right. Let's get it started. Oh, there's so much going on that we got to deal with. All right. Oh, I know you've been keeping up on what's going on, and conscious and woke and what have you. Don't get it mixed. Don't get that woke mixed up. That's word. Look, just to give you an idea of where we at. All right, some understanding here, because this is still relevant. Check this out. In 1944, a 16-year-old black student in Columbus, Ohio, won an essay contest on the theme, what to do with Hitler after the war. She submitted the single sentence, put him in a black skin and let him live the rest of his life in America. You understand where she was coming from? Yeah, she won the essay contest with one line, because her understanding of how black people were treated made her come to the conclusion that if you really wanted to punish Hitler, put him in black skin and let him live the rest of his life under the oppression that is the systemic racism of America. Yeah. Oh, we got some things coming up, don't we? Oh, yeah, we got some things coming up. Look, I like quotes, especially when they make a lot of sense. It's from Asala Shakur, okay, who is still in exile in Cuba. You know, that's pretty interesting, isn't it? Cuba took black political prisoners, or potential black political prisoners, black revolutionaries. They gave them asylum. Who did America give asylum? America gave asylum to Nazis after World War II. That's who America gave asylum to. The quote. People can get used to anything. The less you think about your oppression, the more your tolerance for it grows. After a while, people just think oppression is the normal state of things. But to become free, you have to be acutely aware that you are enslaved. You know, many of us aren't even aware that even now, what is it, 65, 155 years after the Civil War, we are still enslaved. Okay? Those of you that don't understand that, you probably just haven't been paying attention. You know, it's interesting that a lot of us, oh, yeah, let me get one of them right here. I know I got him. Where you at? Where you at? Doggone. On my Tom handkerchief here. And let me call him out right now. Because this is one clown that's been in power way, way too long. And he does not understand that our people are enslaved. He has found a comfortable niche within the system. Oh, I got it. Oh, I didn't bring it. Oh, don't tell me. That's all right. That's all right. I got it, though. Okay, in Ohio, I don't know if you ever, wait a minute. If you ever seen this sister, but she's running either for Senate or for Congress. I think she's running for Congress in Ohio. I'm talking about Nina Turner. If you ever seen this sister, you will be proud of this black woman because she stands up. All right? You talk about standing up. Oh, this sister gets something said. She ain't no joke, I'm telling you. Yes, indeed. What's up, Warren? I see you out there, bro. All right. Now, Representative James Clyburn, the #3 House Democrat, he done stepped into the Ohio. James Clyburn, where is he? Oh, he's from South Carolina? Yeah. He done stepped into the Ohio race to go against Nina Turner. Nina Turner, one of the strongest voices of Black America. In the tradition of Adam Clayton Powell. Nina Turner, even though she's from Ohio, when she speaks for all Black America. She will be one of those congressmen that is our congressman, no matter what state you're in. Well, to Uncle Jim, America is not a racist country, Clyburn, he has stuck his defund the police, is cutting the throat of the party, nose in the Ohio congressional race. I guess he just doesn't like Nina Turner, who called for an end to qualified immunity. And, you know, Jim Turner said, well, you know, that's not a game killer for passing the police reform bill. We don't have to have a qualified immunity. For those of you that don't understand what qualified immunity is for cops, that means if a cop does something egregious, something wrong, something murderous, the state's going to protect them under this qualified immunity. We had the same thing here, right here in Delaware. It's called the State Police Bill of Rights. That gives them rights above and beyond what the normal citizen has. That is not acceptable, Jim Clyburn. Stay your Negropean ass in South Carolina. Jeez, wait. Hold on. I gotta get right here. Okay. The Open Eye is brought to you by the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets, founders and builders of the Pearl Center. Delaware Center for Homeless Vets, changing veterans' lives all over Delaware. All right.
Our sponsor, the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. Any content provided by our hosts, guests, or contributors are there and are not intended to be any religion, ethnic group, creed, or
The Open Eye. Your host and guest, Patrice Gibbs, third eye optometrist. Oh yeah, I will take calls. I will take calls. Our phone number is 844-944-3953. If you got the nerve, you want to challenge me on something, you want to share some information, feel free to call in. Sharing some information. Christine, oh, I forgot her name, her last name, but she's one of my Facebook friends. She hit me to this. Have you ever heard of Molly Williams? Okay. In 1815, Molly Williams was a black woman enslaved by a merchant and firefighter. She was working at the firehouse when a blizzard hit New York City. Oh, some of you are saying, wait a minute, you said she was a slave in New York City. Yes, there were. Look, don't get this mixed that only the Confederate States had slaves. Okay, slavery might have been outlawed in the 1830s, 1840s in the North, but slavery was a fact of life throughout the American colonies and throughout the United States, well after the American Revolution and Independence Day. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Anyway, Molly Williams. She was working at the firehouse when the blizzard hit New York City, and the other firefighters were out with the flu. So Molly Williams herself pulled the engine to the scene of a fire in an apron and a dress in the midst of a blizzard. She earned the nickname Volunteer Number 11 as the first known black female firefighter. Excuse me. The fire department in New York City didn't have another female firefighter until 1982. Hear that, white women? Yes. They didn't care. All they knew was you was a woman. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, I hated that when the discussion turns to helping people, there's always someone who takes the most ungenerous, contemptible stand towards others. If by helping legitimately needy people, I accidentally help some lazy people, so what? How is that worse than helping no one? And that's from Jason Bradley. I think I got that from Tracy Johnson. If the point of having a society isn't to care for each other, to ease suffering and realize each life's potential, literally, what is the point? To hoard wealth, Jeff Bezos, to build empires on other people's throats, America, Europe. Life is brief, nothing lasts. Wealth and empires are pointless violence. Now, some of you that may have inkling knowledge of history, I say, well, you know, there were some successful empires and what have you. Oh yeah, let's look at a couple of them right quick. You know, of course, when you speak of empires in history, the first empire that comes to most minds that have been educated here in the West and in America is the Roman Empire. Okay, let me tell you something. The Roman Empire, as Dr. John Henry Clark teaches us, was a bunch of well-dressed thugs, rapists, murderers. Shoot, man, these people were something else. The Ottoman Empire, you know, and I mentioned these two empires because I want you to understand something. And this is something you need to understand about our society. When a society accepts immorality as the norm, it is the beginning of the end for that society. Of course, you have to wonder, when was America moral? When was America moral? Think about that long and hard. That's why so many don't want the real history of America taught. 844-944-3953. The Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. Oh yeah. I see you, Shane. What's up, brother? And my partner in consciousness out there on the road, Nsoromma. Yaga.
Those of us that
Somebody had to say it.
Intellectual violence don't do so for the pleasure
Yes, indeed.
we do so because the change of impression goes so deep and difficult to
Oh.
Delaware Center for DCHB, changing veterans' lives all over Delaware. DCHB is a 501c3 nonprofit and owns veteran-specific nonprofit in Delaware, utilizing the Housing First model to provide veteran-specific housing, intensive case management, and supportive services since 2009. Delaware Center for Homeless Vets was founded by veterans to help veterans. We understand the need and work well with military and veterans cultures, normally misunderstood by other nonprofits. Delaware Center for Homeless Vets is proud to announce Homeless Veterans Youth Integration Program and Incarcerated Veteran Transition Program. HBRP, IBTP are the only programs to focus exclusively on competitive employment for homeless veterans to provide job training, counseling, and job placement services, including job readiness, literacy and skills training, expedite re-entry veterans in the workforce. Contact the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets at dchb.org or call our office at 691-7411. That's 302-691-7411. Delaware Center for Homeless Vets, changing veterans' lives all over Delaware.
WHGE 95.3 FM. Yep, I know I played the theme song again. I'm sorry about that, y'all. I meant to get our sponsors, our sponsors ad in there. It's not really an ad, it's just letting you know what our sponsors do because we're a nonprofit. So we don't take ads, but we do take sponsorship, and especially from another nonprofit, which is the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets, changing veterans' lives all over Delaware. All right. Look, pay attention, okay? People say, now, it seems like your whole show all the time is about white supremacy and this, that, and the other. You get tired of hearing it, we get tired of living through it. You think this is a joke? Okay, let me give you an example of why we have to address this. Okay. There was, I want to say it was in Florida. I didn't bring the paperwork on it. I'm sorry about that, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. There was a brother driving his family, got pulled over for speed. Now, the race soldier that pulled him over was one of those white, and I say so, race soldiers. White people. When I say race soldiers, I'm referring to the police. Okay. He got in an argument needlessly with this driver. All he had to do was give him a ticket and send him on his way. But no, he wanted to get out the car and this, that, and the other. And I said, look, man, with my family, can you just give me the ticket? You know what? Let me have a supervisor because you're obviously very hostile and what have you, and I'm not putting my family through this. I would prefer just to have the ticket and get this over with. And the driver's wife stated that, they've been out all day and what have you, and she was tired. The race soldier responded, I don't give a F if you tired. He goes back to his car, comes back. Now this man is in the car. This brother is in the car with his wife and 2 children, boy and a girl. His girl's 11 years old. I think the boy was 12. This cop comes back to the car and indiscriminately pepper sprays, pepper spray, mace in the car on this man's wife and family. All right? He's spraying this pepper spray like it's, like he done pulled over a group of drug dealers or bank robbers or something. There's children in the car. Now this man seeing his family in danger, pulled off. Oh, he got to get out of here, man. This cop is out of control and he's a danger to my family. Now, what did the cop do? He jumped in his police car, chased this black man's family, and ran them from the back, not once, but twice, causing his 11-year-old daughter to be thrown from the car and killed. You wonder why I don't stop talking about this? Are you kidding me? And what happened to this cop? He was given desk duty. And the police force representative stated, well, she didn't have on a seatbelt. Like it was their fault that this out of control race soldier who violated procedure by chasing and ramming his police cruiser into a car with a family in it, is given desk duty. What job do you go on where a child gets killed and you still got your damn job? This ain't no joke. See, not only do we have to put up with crap like this, but those black people that join the police force, you got to be wondering, am I doing the right thing? Because I'll tell you something. And yes, I'm well aware that there are good cops. Okay, but the thing about that is, I don't care how many good cops they are, if they don't do something about the bad cops, they ain't worth a damn either. And yes, I am talking to black cops as well, because some of them are some of the worst, most corrupt, most abusive cops on the force. And I warn you, as I have done time and again, when he's in that uniform, don't give his pigmentation no consideration. Ohio police chief resigns immediately when told he had minutes to exit the building after video catching him leaving the KKK sign on a black officer's desk. This is the kind of pressure black officers are under. This is the damn chief, the chief of police. Attitudes roll downhill. This is the boss of the police force, the chief. And he run around doing little nasty ass microaggressions and threats and what have you. He retired immediately after he was placed under investigation for leaving a racially intimidating note on the desk of a black police officer. His motivation was what? Sheffield Lake Police Chief Anthony Campo retired from the department on June 29th after he became the subject of an internal investigation for leaving a note containing the words Ku Klux Klan on the desk of a black officer. Campo had been with the department in the Cleveland suburb for 33 years and served as chief for 8. 33 years. 33 years this fool been on the police force. and chief of police for 8 years. You know how much injustice he's responsible for? What they need to do now with this clown is go back and check his the cases that he's been involved in and the people that he arrested, because obviously his motivation for arresting most black people was because they're black. Because in his mind, this race soldier looked and saw your skin and said, your skin color is a crime. Campbell displayed a jacket intended to look like the robes worn by KKK members, placed the KKK sign on the jacket, then waited for the officer to walk in and see the display. The surveillance camera captured the black officer read the offensive message and laugh. Wasn't a damn thing funny, brother. What the hell were you laughing at? Other officers can be seen walking by reading the note. I just looked at him and said, what's this about? The mayor told the Morning Journal. And he goes, you aren't even going to believe this. Mayor Dennis Bring said he became aware of the note on June 30th when Law Director David Graves informed him of a real bad complaint from the police union. Excuse me, I'm going to turn that air off. It said, Ku Klux Klan on the back, Bring says. I don't know how much more offensive you can possibly get, according to Bring. That's the mayor. Campbell believes the note is just a joke and doesn't understand why people are so upset. Oh, it's just a joke. But the black officer was clearly made to feel uncomfortable by the note. And well, he should have. So I guess that was that nervous laughter, you know? How can you possibly think that you could put something on somebody's jacket like that, and especially if they were African American, and think this is a goddamn joke? This is the most egregious and offensive thing you could possibly do. It's embarrassing and disgusting. Bring took steps right away after saluting for that to place Campbell on leave and made plans to terminate him. When Campbell learned of the harassment complaint against him, he said, so I'm fired, and began to type his resignation letter. So they shouldn't have let him resign. This is what I get up to 30 years. I said, what are you going to get is 10 minutes to get the hell out of your office. That's what the mayor said. Bring ultimately allowed Campbell to submit his retirement papers. Officials looked through the chief's computer to see if there was anything else of concern on the device. Bring apologized to city staff and had a conversation with the black officer who was the recipient of the note. The officer expressed a desire to stay with the department and said that the laugh he let out upon seeing the note was just a gut reaction. Yeah, it was that nervous laughter. Okay, brother, I understand. I understand. Now, the black officer has been with the department for less than a year. He has since retained an attorney, and Bring said he would back the officer. He decided to take further action against Campbell. Campbell said the note was meant to be funny, and the damn thing funny about the KKK. The KKK is a terrorist organization that has terrorized black people in America for over 100 years. Get the hell out of here. He said he had a joking back and forth banter with that officer since I hired him. See, brother, you know what? Right now, I hope you didn't allow this cat to tell you some racial jokes and laugh that crap off. Cleveland NAACP President James Hardiman believes the note is no laughing matter. Hell no. It's significant because it's indicative of a much bigger problem. For a person in a position of responsibility to assume he can get away with that, it's tragic. Is it an isolated incident, or was it accepted protocol until he got caught? See, this is why he should not have been allowed to resign. He should, because what happens is he got to resign and keep his 30-year pension. So he'll be able to live comfortably. Okay? He should have been fired and stripped of his pension. Probably should have been brought up on charges for harassment on the job. Are you kidding me? Sheesh. And you want to ask why I talk about this so much? Because this is what we're dealing with. Dove and I, WHGE 95.3 as well. WHGE 95.3 FM. Those of you that tuned in last week, I'm sure you caught a good show. I know you did. Had special guest, Dr. Yasir Payne, University of Delaware professor, founder of Wilmington's PAR movement, Participatory Action Research. If you didn't see it, you can go on my YouTube channel and review last week's show. 844 WHGE 953. That's our phone number if you're brave enough to call in. One of the things that I didn't get to last week, so I'm going to keep it brief on this. By now, you all know that Derek Chauvin was sentenced to 22 and a half years. You know, it's a tragedy the bar is set so low that anything feels like justice. You know, since 2005, I think there's been 1,000 black men shot by police unjustly, unarmed. Since 2005, 11 of those race soldiers have been brought up on charges. And that's why one of the longest sentences, 22 and a half years for murder, has been given. And that's a problem. There are also countless brothers with much longer sentences for far less crimes. Far less. For nonviolent crimes. We got such a long way to go, y'all. Boy, do we have a long way to go. Yeah. Case in point, the beautiful Sha'Carri Richardson. Do you know who that is? I hope you do. Sha'Carri Richardson is a track and field sprinter who is currently the fastest woman on the planet. Richardson was preparing to participate in her first Olympic Games in Tokyo. Unfortunately, on July 1st, Richardson tested positive for marijuana. Marijuana is legal in 19 states. As a result, the World Anti-Doping Agency has suspended her for 30 days, which means she'll probably miss the election. Like I said, recreational marijuana is legal in 19 states, including Oregon, where Richardson competed in the U.S. Olympic team trials and reportedly failed the drug test. Cannabis is not a performing enhancing drug, but could still put the runner at more of a disadvantage during a race. Sha'Carri Richardson should not be barred from realizing her dream of competing in the 2021 Olympic Games. She did not gain any competitive advantage from the reported marijuana use. Richardson and athletes everywhere should not be banned from competition for the use of a widely legalized drug. Okay, go to change.org. There's a petition. There's a petition there in support of Sha'Carri Richardson. Now, you know, I've seen some people, black people, goddamn Negro pins, saying, well, she knew the rules and she knew better and she shouldn't have did it and she got what she deserved. Are you kidding me? What's that swimmer's name that won so many medals? Phelps? He on camera smoking a bomb, then been arrested for DUI numerous times and has not been suspended. Female athlete from Europe tested positive for steroids and said, oh, it was in her sandwich. It was the kind of meat that was in her sandwich it made it look like, and she has not been suspended. Matter of fact, I forgot her name because it's been talked about so little. Here you got these Negro coons supporting the World Anti-Doping Agency to suspend Sha'Carri Richardson. What the hell is wrong with y'all? Same people, when Phelps did this, it was crickets. You didn't have a damn thing to say. And talk of speaking out of turn, here we go. First of all, let me say this. Brother Vaughn, I know you're listening. I owe you an apology. I have a correction. Bill Cosby was not released on a technicality. Bill Cosby was released because of prosecutorial misconduct. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people out there that are black people. Here's the real one that's real crazy. You got some black people saying that, you know, what was it, the pudding speech or whatever it was, I forget the speech. Well, Bill Cosby chastised black people vehemently for our condition, not taking into consideration how we got here, and he made a lot of black people mad, and they should have been mad. But now what some black people are saying now is, because of that, we should have no support for Bill Cosby. Okay, let me tell you something. I'll tell you like Tariq Nasheed said. I hate white supremacy a hell of a lot more than I hate what Bill Cosby said about us when he was chastising poor black people. I don't give him a pass for that. I wanted to pop him upside his head my damn self and ask him what the hell is wrong with you, Bill? You know better than this. But the rape charges. First of all, let's be clear about something. He was not convicted of rape. He was convicted of aggravated sexual assault. It's not rape. Okay? Now, how did this come about? Now, understand this, okay? When these charges first came up, and I'm talking about way before, you know, the case that happened that he was, you know, convicted of. But when he was accused of this by the woman that eventually was, you know, the subject of his conviction, when he was first accused of this, the prosecutor in office looked at this case and said, not enough evidence to take this to trial. This sounds real shaky. What did he look at that saw that this was real shaky? One, he looked at the fact that this woman who was supposedly raped went back to Bill Cosby after she was supposed to. What rape victim returns to you know, the perpetrator of the crime for another go at it? See, what happened was they assured Bill Cosby that whatever deposition or testimony he gave in the civil trial, which was also weak, whatever testimony he gave could not be used against him in a criminal trial. Okay, that deal was cut, that deal was made. Now, what a lot of people are saying is, well, he incriminated himself in that civil trial, and that's why, the criminal charges were brought against him. He did not incriminate himself. He was asked if he used Quaaludes. When he used Quaaludes, if he gave women Quaaludes with the thought of having sex with them. Quaaludes were the mollies of the 80s, as Tariq Nasheed said. During the 70s and 80s, if you were out partying and you ran into some chick and, you had the hots for her and this, that, and the other, and you told her, hey, baby, I got some Quaaludes. Oh, she was like, oh, yeah, let's party. And that party usually included sex. Understand that. Bill Cosby was doing what everybody else was doing during those days. 30 years ago, 30, 40 years ago. So when he was asked, did you buy Quaaludes with the intent of giving them to women and having sex with them? He said yes. He was asked, did you give these women Quaaludes without their knowledge or consent? No. But nobody wants to hear that. See, this woman that he was convicted behind knew that he had some more Quaaludes. So she's going to go back and give her some more Quaaludes and sex with Bill Cosby. But we got these people out here, what's her name? Tarana Burke of the Me Too movement, who was crickets when what's that, Harvey Weinstein was facing these charges. She didn't have a damn thing to say. But when a black man can, toxic masculinity. Well, I got something on that. Wait a minute. Oh, that's what she screamed. It was toxic masculinity, and he needs to go to jail, and he did this, and to a bunch of black. No, honey. It was not a bunch of black women. Hold on, I got a quote here on some toxic masculinity. Where the hell was that? I got it. Oh, and I gotta get moving. Okay. Wait a minute. I do it. Wait a minute. All right. Okay. It's not there. Okay. I know I got it. Oh, yeah, there you go. Masculinity is not toxic. The absence of masculinity is. You have an absence of masculinity. You got a weak man. Weak men are abusive and spiteful. Strong masculine men are protective and loving. So no, it wasn't toxic masculinity. Now, Bill Cosby's longtime TV wife, his work wife, Felicia Rashad, who played Claire Huxtable on The Cosby Show, showed support for Cosby's release Wednesday, and her comment became a hot topic on social media. Oh, yeah. She said justice has finally been served. Or just something along those lines. I got the, that's what she said. Finally, a terrible wrong is being righted. A miscarriage of justice is corrected. Oh, she was met with swift criticism and what have you. Unfortunately, she backtracked, earlier statement in which she celebrated the shocking news. She backtracked on the statement. I wish she hadn't, because she was right. She has recently been named Dean of College of Fine Arts at Howard University. Now, Howard University students and alumni are calling for Felicia Rashad to be fired from the school. Okay. Howard University students were not only in an uproar over Rashad's stance, they're now claiming that her latest statement in support of sexual assault survivors was merely a publicity stunt and calling for her to be fired. First of all, she did not support sexual assault she was not against sexual assault survivors. See, the thing about this, with this Bill Cosby case, there's some 60 women accused here. How come they only have one accuser for the criminal case? Because it was found out that the vast majority of these accusers were liars, including model actress Beverly Johnson. They were lying. Most of them were in it for the money. Am I supporting Bill Cosby for what he did? No. But what I'm saying is, when you have people bringing up false charges on such a serious situation, such an egregious act of rape, which takes a woman's humanity, and you got a bunch of liars accusing somebody of that, it takes away from the reality of the rape situation, of real rapists. Hell, rape wasn't even legal. Wasn't even a real crime until like the 1960s or 70s or something like that, after the women's liberty movement. And very rarely that somebody was, jailed for rape, any white people anyway. Because we know what happened when white women accused black men of rape. Those black men were hunted down and murdered. And 99.9% of the time, these white women were lying. They weren't raped. Sometimes they weren't even touched. Other times, they were involved in a relationship and got caught, and so they screamed rape. Emmett Till was murdered because that white woman lied and said he whistled at her or got fresh with her. No, I am not comparing Bill Cosby to Emmett Till. But what I want you to understand is white women lie on black men, and that's the history of America. These were the major causes of black men being lynched. You're gonna come telling me, man, when I see some of our sisters that have jumped on the bandwagon with this, it's just shameful. It's just shameful. You need to back up and look at this situation for real and stop feeding into the goddamn propaganda that the mainstream media is pushing on this situation. Okay. Get you some education. That's why you tuned into the Open Eye. Yeah. Because what are we taught? What are we taught? Tell you what we're taught. Just to give you an idea of what we're taught with the propaganda pushes. The propaganda pushes that we as black people don't deserve life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Even when we serve our country. I'm a vet. Now, what a lot of people believe is that the GI Bill helped vets to secure loans to buy a house upon returning from World War II. So when the GI Bill was, put in place. Now, if we were taught the truth of American history from the standpoint of critical race theory, many banks refused to approve loans to Black vets, resulting in fewer than 100 out of 67,000 mortgages going to non-white borrowers in some suburbs. Schools are not adequately teaching the history of American slavery. Educators are not sufficiently prepared to teach it. Textbooks do not have enough material about it. And as a result, students lack a basic knowledge of the important role it played in shaping the United States and the impact it continues to have on race relations in America. That's a statement from the Southern Poverty Law Center. I plan to talk about critical race theory in the near future here on a much broader scale, because there's so much information out there that we need to be educated on what this is. Why critical race theory? And I'd like to thank Tracy Johnson for this. Because convicted murderers are 6 times more likely to receive the death penalty for killing a white person than a Black person. Why critical race theory? Because realtors undervalue Black-owned homes by approximately $48,000 compared to white sellers. Why critical race theory? Because white defendants are 25% more likely to have felony charges reduced than Black defendants. They're serving 22 and a half years for murder, of which you'll probably do 10 or 15 and be out. Why critical race theory? Because jail time for Black drug users is 40 months longer than for white drug users or even murderers. Like I said last week, quoted Dr. King, I favor integration on buses and in all areas of public accommodation and travel. I'm for equality. However, I think integration in our public schools is different. In that setting, you're dealing with one of the most important assets of an individual, the mind. White people view Black people as inferior. A large percentage of them have a very low opinion of our race. People with such a low view of the Black race cannot be given free rein and put in charge of the intellectual care and development of our boys and girls. That's what Dr. King said. And that's for all you racist people who falsely praise Dr. King, and as soon as we bring about some reality to what our situation is, you want to jump up and quote Dr. King. You go to hell because y'all killed him. Dr. King said we should be judged by the content of our character. Yeah, go to hell with that. Oh boy, you know, it's even when I'm by myself, man, this hour flies by so fast. You know, in an intellectual society, people who know nothing about a complex subject are emboldened to ridicule experts who have spent a lifetime studying the subject. We got to stop permitting political groups from passing laws that restrict our educators from teaching the truth of history. Never forget America's original sin and how that caused wealth to be maldistributed to so-called dominant society. We must use this time to start giving America a massive history lesson. Codify chattel slavery. If your mother was enslaved, you were born enslaved. Your property began in the colony of Massachusetts in 1641 and was officially quasi-ended in 1865 by the 13th Amendment. Look, the restrictions, policies, and laws still exist today due to systemic racism. Either we hold the white supremacists of our nation's past responsible for their crimes, or the judgment of history shall condemn us to share in their punishment. If we don't know who we are, then we are whoever someone says we are. And that's from Dr. Amos Wilson. All right. June 19th, we celebrated Juneteenth. And with the Negro Peon dead wench, Candace Owens, who, by the way, got her skin bleached. If you don't know who Candace Owens is, she is the lowest order of sellout. She's the worst black woman I think I've ever seen. She said Juneteenth is so lame. Democrats really need to stop trying to repackage segregation. I'll be celebrating July 4th and July 4th only. I'm American. That's what Candace Owens said. Well. Frederick Douglass gave a keynote address at an Independence Day celebration and asked, "What to the slave is the 4th of July?" Frederick Douglass, who was a powerful orator, often traveling 6 months out of the year to give lectures on abolition. His speech was delivered at an event commemorating the signing of the Declaration of Independence. It was a scathing speech in which Douglass stated, "This 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, I must mourn." Okay? So, if tomorrow you are celebrating the 4th of July, I'm sure a lot of you are, you're going to get together. We got off Monday. You're going to get together with your friends and family, whether you're black or white. You're going to have some barbecues and go to the amusement park. But remember what Frederick Douglass said. What to the slave is the 4th of July? The 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, I must mourn. I'm Patrice Gibbs. This is the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. Thanks for joining us. Hope you learned something. Hope I woke something up in you. And remember what I always tell you. Destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays. Therefore, value those who value you, and don't treat those as a priority who treat you as an option. Thanks for joining us. WHGE 95.3 FM. Hey. Thank you. Yes, D. Yeah. All right. I'm going to get out of here now. All right. Thanks for calling. I love you too. Peace. How you doing, bro?
I'm good. How you feeling?
Pretty good.
Listen, I got a real big show today.
Okay.
Is the computer back up?
Yep.
If you don't mind, would you please just set my theme music up?
All right. Let me do this first. All right. Thanks for joining us on the Open Eye. Hope you learned something. Hope you had a good time. If you missed some of the show, I will post it on Facebook later. On YouTube later. It's on Facebook Live now. All right. Thanks for joining us on the Open Eye. Peace.